What's up guys, Axis here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a full intro tutorial, basically to thank everybody for 3k, which is really amazing. I never expected to get this channel up to that kind of amount of following, and the fact that some of you guys have been here since like under 100 subscribers is really amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to thank all you guys for all your support, and just to thank you with this intro tutorial. I've previously done an intro tutorial, but this could need a bit of an update because it's quite an old video. So first off, if you didn't already know, I use Cinema 4D, and I'm going to be using R14. This will obviously work with any version of Cinema 4D. 12, 14, 13, whatever version you're using, and you'll need a plugin called Greebler, which is a paid plugin, so I'll put a link in the description of how you can get that. And I'm just starting off in a completely blank project. I'm just going to put a light in here. You can use Lightroom if you want, but I'm going to take you through this whole tutorial from scratch. So first off, get your light, put a shadow on it, make sure it's on soft, and then we're going to put that inside a cloner. So if you don't know how to put an object inside something automatically, just hold Alt and then click on whatever you want to make a child of, and as you can see, it's inside of it. And now you can go and set this to radial, and you can change the radius, change how many lights you want, and that's basically how I do my lights. If I want to make it from the top of it, you can just change this to 90, and then this can go over your logo or whatever you're using. So first I'm just going to grab a logo now. I've got a logo pack, so I'm just going to grab a random team logo. Let's just go with the Synergy logo. Obviously you can have your logo here. We're just going to extrude this, put it inside the extrude NURBS, and then I'm just going to change the depth slightly to, I'll leave it at 30 or 48. Copy this with Control C and then go to your light, the thing where you have all your lights, and paste it. And then to center this, you're going to want to go to your position, highlight it, go 0, tab 0, tab 0, and it will put it right in the center. But as you can see, the axis is at the top of this, so if we rotate it, it is actually going to rotate, not very naturally. It's going to rotate from the top. And if your logo is got the axis over here, that's obviously going to be really bad for rotation. So go into your camera perspectives here, and all I need to do is go into the top and then click this enable axis, and then move it back on the Z, and now it's in the middle. And then we go into the front, and if for example your axis is out here, you're going to want to move it into the middle of your logo. So there, if I click the axis now, and then I can go to the Z, which is the one that I changed, and press 0 and confirm that with enter, and now it'll be completely centered in your composition. Now just to make sure your shadows are shown, go into your render settings and choose ambient occlusion. If you're using glow materials, which I'm going to be using in this, go to object glow, and if you're using some close-ups, you can do depth of field and put it on 10 for blur strength. It wouldn't be that I won't be doing any like camera angles in this or anything, but you can obviously if you want to. Now we're going to get into the kind of part where I'm gonna basically do like one of my intro styles, which is like the modeling style. And if you want to go and look at the intro I'm gonna be basing this on, I'll leave it in the description. If you already know, I'm gonna be using the intro that I did for a team called Violet, and it's just using some cloners and spheres with the plugin Greebler. After you've got your sphere, go and put this inside a cloner by holding Alt when you click on it, or you can just drag it inside if you want. I'm going to put this on the radial, and then I'm just gonna move this out a bit. I'm gonna increase the amount, and then once you've done this, hold Alt and put that cloner inside of another cloner. Set it to grid array, which this is when your computer might start lagging a bit, and I'm just going to put this on the Z position, so put all these down to 1, and then you can increase the Z like so. So I'm just going to move this all the way back on the Z axis in coordinates, and then you see the sphere in here. If you don't see it, just expand all these cloners, and then once again just hold Alt and go into plugins and Greebler. Once you do this, this should say down here updating Greebler, and it might take a while to load the parts of Greebler. So as you can see, it's still updating. So if you're wanting to kind of go around the composition, you might want to remove the Greebler because it will reduce a ton of lag. I'm just trying to demonstrate what this is going to look like at the end. Oh, and as you can see, we've got tons and tons of different kind of building things. It looks really cool. Also, if you go into your sphere, you can go into your type, and I'm going to change this to the second one down. It will update again. Also, one thing, if you want to do this, you can reduce the amount of segments, which should decrease the render time quite significantly. See, I've decreased it to 40. It doesn't need to be that high. So as you can see, I've got the Greebler on here, and I'm going to go into my Greebler and change some of the settings in the base. So just obviously experiment with some of the parameters in here until you get something that you like. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Don't really need to do much to make this look really awesome. Just gonna do a quick render preview. As you can see down here, it's rendering the shadow maps, and then it's gonna start rendering. And this is what I'm meaning. Some of the using Greebler, it's going to create tons and tons of different shadows, which look amazing in the final render with some color correction. So yeah, if you want to create more of these little circles and spheres and stuff, just increase the segments. If you don't really like the triangles, you can obviously put it to standard, or just experiment with some of the different types. So I just show this quickly. Let's just try that. Oh wow, so kind of half the sphere. Yep. So obviously it looks really awesome in the final render with some of this stuff. Right, so now we're gonna just click on the cloner, go to MoGraph, Effector, and Step. As you can see, it's pretty cool. It's like a, well, it is a step for this whole thing. But what I'm going to want to do is just go into your parameter of your step, and I'm going to make this kind of inverted, so the bottom of it is the part which is kind of extruded in a bit. And then also go into your rotation, check that, and then go to your Z rotation and randomize this a bit. So as you can see, if I go into my effector and adjust the strength, it looks really awesome. I've not really tried this, but I'm just going to experiment with this as well. You can click on your cloner and go into effector and random, and then I could just uncheck the position, go into your scale, and then go uniform scale. Just reduce this, and you can reduce each one randomly, but I'm going to use the random. You could try it on the one in here, and then you could change the size of each individual sphere. Which so I'm just going to uncheck position, go into scale, uniform scale, and reduce this. So as you can see, so you can make some pretty cool effects in here. Yep. That's basically all I wanted to demonstrate with the cloners. I'm going to put my sphere in here without the greebler until I'm going to render this. So now we can get started with the animation. I might just add a bit more parts here. Move it apart. There we go. And then at this point I'm going to move my logo all the way back to the back. I'm just going to go into my steps, see what this will look like when it's done. Yep, okay. And then I'll just move this all the way back. And at this point, grab your logo. I'm going to put this in a null. So if you wanted to add some text on top of this when it's moving in, you can grab your text and then put it in here, and it will track onto wherever you put the text. If you add the animation to this null, which I'm going to name logo, make sure it's got the text inside of it. And once you've done this, go to your the start of composition, press the keyframe, and then I'm going to set this to 12 seconds so we can have a 12-second intro here. I'm going to go to about 7 seconds. 7 seconds. And I'm going to just press I'm going to go into my logo, make sure it's selected, make sure it's the null and not the extrusion. Move this to here, and then we can press the keyframe again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my coordinates, and you can just mess about with the rotation here. So I'm going to put this on, let's go 90. I'll put this on 180 on the rotation on the Z, and then keyframe that again. And as you can see, it's going to rotate out, but I wanted to rotate in. I meant to say that you should put the rotation at the start and then make it come in. So I'm going to just move the keyframes. As you can see now, it's going to come all the way in to the cloners and stop. So now I'm going to mess about with the step, and on effector I'm going to set this to 0 at 7 seconds, and then I'm going to go to the start, and then I'm going to set this to 100 and keyframe it. You can also keyframe like a single parameter by control clicking. I didn't really explain that enough, but after that's happened, I'm going to go inside my cloners, and if you go into the transform options, you can see you can get some pretty cool effects with messing about with these. So I'm just going to make it rotate on the Z over the whole time. So I'm going to go to the start, keyframe that Z position for the rotation, go to the end and rotate it slightly. So as you can see, if I go back through this, it's going to continue rotate throughout the whole animation. And if I just put the sphere in the cloner to demonstrate this, the sphere in the greebler, as you can see, it's going to look amazing after you've done that. So yeah, I'm just going to take that out to save time. And I'm going to add another light here, so I'm going to add a spotlight and move this all the way back on the Z position. Move it up, and then I'll set the intensity down a slight bit, switch shadows on, and you should be good to go. Also I'm going to move the lights, the original lights that I made back. Just to light this up a bit more. And after I've done this, I can start to add the camera movements by just adding the camera, putting it into respective mode by clicking this, and then I'm going to grab a sphere in the shapes. I'm just going to go up here, go to the all the way back, and then that's going to be my target object for the camera. So to add a target, you're going to want to right click on the camera, go to Cinema 4D tags and target, and then click onto the target, or you can drag it into the target object section. And now that is going to be completely like stuck to that cube, and you don't want this target to be showing in the final render, so I'm going to switch this off by clicking on these two spheres twice, and then I can start the camera movement. So I'm going to start quite far in, and then I'm going to work my way back from here. So press keyframe, make sure you're on frame 1 camera, and then I'll go around halfway, a bit more than halfway, just move back. And then when it's coming completely in, I'm going to zoom in here. And then for the remainder of the other 5 seconds, I'm just gonna zoom back out. So as you can see, it's just slowly going back. And there's quite a sudden movement forward, and it's just going straight back out. If you wanted to make this even more interesting, you could go into your camera's coordinates and change the Z rotation slightly. So as you can see, just go like this. So just change it to this, keyframe that. And now we can start creating some textures. So I'm just going to create a glow texture for these spheres. So just double click here to create a sphere. Right click on the object and go to Object Soft Shadow. I'm going to change the color to a cyan. Pretty good color. Use them in a lot of intros. Go to glow. Change this to I'd say around 25 to 50 is a good number. I'm going to go for 50 on this. You can go into your specular. Probably increase this a bit. If you wanted to make it look a bit more metallic, go into your reflections and you can add quite a strong reflection if you wanted to. And then adding blurriness is also a good thing to do, but it will quite dramatically change your render times, put them up quite a bit. Because as you can see, if I just change this by 1, the red box around there represents it's kind of updating. And as you can see, even in that tiny preview, it's taking quite a while to update. So once we've got this, you can just put this on your cloners. If I just quickly go to start, and then I can put the sphere inside the greebler. Wait for this to update, and then I'll just do a quick render preview after this is done. Okay. So it's just rendering the shadow maps, and then it will get on with rendering. It's still quite dark, so I need to add some more lights in here. But yeah, it's still looking pretty awesome. Just grab the target light that I was using and turn this up, and then move it down a bit. And I'll just look into the position. Render this again. Try not to keep you guys waiting too long for this. Still quite dark because it's being hidden by all the other parts. But as you can see, it's a really effective effect. Oh, that's very bright. I just move some lights in here. Remember to always switch it to your shadows on. It might be the material that's quite dark, but you're just gonna have to mess about with this until it looks great. There we go, that's a lot lighter now. You can probably hear my computer is going pretty insane. Obviously the shadows look really nice. There's quite a bit of grain on them, but we can fix that in the render. But it's not too bad, so if your computer's not really up to the task of rendering for like really long, well, it will take a long time. If your PC's not that good, then you can obviously just... So basically that is how you do the intro. I'm gonna add kind of a metallic-y effect to the Synergy logo. I'll just keep on a pure white on here, and then I'll switch up the reflection quite high, and I'll put this on a soft shadow. Stick that on the logo. Just quickly render that region, see if it looks alright. If you switch the reflection really high, you should be able to see some of the cloners like reflecting off it. I might also make it so that the Synergy logo is going to scale in throughout the whole thing. So just go here and then go into your coordinates. Go to right to the start where your first keyframe is on your logo, like null. Switch all these to null, 0. And then if we go back through this, it will scale up even though you can't see it. If I switch this to perspective mode, I mean, not in perspective mode, yes, you're going to see it's going to scale in throughout the whole thing. Put this back into the perspective, and that is looking pretty good. So just check all this out. If you wanted to add some more text, create some more text, position it when the logo is stationary, and put it inside the logo null so it will track to it. I'll probably just demonstrate this right now because it doesn't really take all that long. I'll just switch off the lights in the preview right now so you can't see how light it is. And then I will put this cube inside the null here. When I scroll back through this, you can see that it's going to rotate with it till it goes to that position there. So hopefully you've got something pretty cool with all these cloners and everything. And I'll probably just adjust some of the parameters in here once Greebler's finished. There, something like that. You could even, if you wanted to, adjust the amount in here. $10 or $11 looks pretty good. And it still looks pretty stationary because I adjusted the whole of the step here, so I'm gonna add a step again to that cloner, step effector, and go into your parameters and uncheck scale, and then go rotation there. You could even mess about with the position. Might make this slightly randomized, not too much though. So now, as you can see, these are slightly offset as you go through the whole of it. Now we're just going to get onto the render settings. I'm going to use a TIFF PSD layers, set this to 16-bit. You can use a PNG if you want. The quality won't be as high though, and I'm going to set this to an alpha channel. Alpha channels don't look, they don't really work that well unless you have a PNG, but TIFF is the best quality. And when you're like putting this into After Effects, it will ask you if you want to create the transparency layer or the alpha layer, because it's not as default on this, but they try and set it in alpha channel. So yeah, I know it's a bit confusing, but I'll show you in the second part of this tutorial in After Effects. Now, anti-aliasing. I'm going to set this to best. If you're just using, if your PC isn't that good, then set it to geometry. Ambient occlusion, you don't really have to touch. All these are fine. And then to the output, I'm going to put this into a 720 format, which is the standard for my videos. So, if you want to put it full HD or 4K, you can do that, but I don't really want to render that. It will take a lot more time because it's rendering a bigger image. I'm going to set the resolution to 300 pixels per inch, or DPI. I'm going to use 30 FPS, or if you're American, there's like some format which is like 29.2 something, so you can do that if you want. Frame range, you can set this to manual. I'm going to set this to 12. If you're in R12, there's a problem with if you set all frames, it only rendered one frame, and there was like an error that came up at the end, so I'm just doing that to kind of troubleshoot any problems that like users of the old versions had. And now just save this wherever you want to save it. So I'm just going to save this into tutorial. Make sure you put it in a separate folder, intro tutorial. I'm just going to label this 1, but you can label whatever you're making it for. I'll just do 1 synergy. Save it, and then you can exit out of this and press the render, which will render it to a file. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.